I have never had a budget before. And at 47 years old, that's pretty embarrassing for me to say out loud. But I'm going to put together my very first budget and hopefully, no, I am going to stick to it and get this debt payoff journey off to the right start. If you're interested in how I'm putting together my budget and how I'm going through this debt payoff journey, stick around. Come budget with me. I've got my emotional support coffee here with me, and we're going to get into it. I am convinced that even my camera is having secondhand embarrassment for me and my budget. I've been trying to record my October budget for like a week now. And for whatever reason, I am having nothing but technical difficulties. I am going to put together what I already have and what I'm going to record right now, which is what's missing. And we're just going to piece it together and start somewhere. I don't know what's going on, but we need to get this ball rolling. My name is Jen. I'm 47 years old and I am on a debt payoff journey. I have found myself in a position where I have a ton of debt. I can't even tell you anymore what most of it is from. Part of it is lifestyle creep. The other part is just struggling to make ends meet after my marriage ended about a year and a half ago. So now I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I need to start budgeting, and we are starting today. So I have never had a budget before, and I pretty much don't know where to start. And I couldn't even say I still don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm never going to make progress if I don't start somewhere. So I figured it's a new month. It's October. Might as well start now. I've waited this long. I surely cannot wait anymore. So I downloaded a spreadsheet from Etsy and I'm just going to work with that. I'm still in the process of trying to find what works for me. So like the right method or the right plan. I don't know how to word it, but I'm still in that process and I'm still trying to figure it out. So this is not going to be perfect. I already know. And I'm sure people are going to question what I even have on this budget because I questioned it myself. But I left it the way that it is at the very first time that I started putting the line items together to review it. And I think I'm going to do baby steps to improve because I know myself. And if I try and do everything at one time, it's going to be hard for me to stick to and really, make progress. And I know there's people out there that is like an all or nothing right away type of person. I don't know if that's me, and maybe I'll surprise myself and this month will be easy and then I can make some big changes coming up. So I figured it's better to just start by seeing what I'm working with and make small tweaks and changes as I go along. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the spreadsheet. I might tweak it in the middle of the month, see where I'm at. I'll be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. Zero. All right, let's get into it. And when I go through each section, I'll just put my thoughts into things and document this process as I go. So I'm going to take another sip of coffee and then I'm going to open up my laptop and we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so I have the laptop open. I have my screen ready. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my laptop screen. Otherwise, I'm gonna try and do both. I don't know, we'll see. So currently on the screen, you'll see the spreadsheet that I'm using for my budget. It does have my income, my variable expenses, and my monthly bills. We're gonna go through the income first. And I'm going to explain where the income is coming from and all that good stuff. So the first two line items are my paychecks from my W-2 job. Those are pretty much the same every month. I get paid every other Wednesday. The first paycheck of every month, I do have one additional post-tax deduction, and I'll go over my deductions in a second. So that's why the first one is a little bit lower than the second one. I am an IT manager in downtown Chicago. I have had that job for about 6.5 years now. I've been in IT for over 20 years, but I've been at this company for about 6 years, and I am a salaried employee. I make $125,000 a year at this job. And I think I said in one of my previous videos, if I didn't have all this debt, I think I'd be okay with my job and I live a comfortable life. However, I pretty much have screwed myself over and have been screwed over in the ending of my marriage, but also with the debt that I have. So it was a double whammy for me, but we are taking control of it now and we will figure this out, right? So let me show the breakdown of my paychecks. So my gross pay before my taxes and all my deductions are taken out, it's $4,821.27. The taxes being taken out of my check is $940.79. I will probably have to look into increasing that a little bit now that my son is 18 years old. But for right now, that's what it is. My pre-tax deductions are $557.06. My post-tax deductions are $374.89. So my first paycheck of every month is $2,948.53, and the second paycheck of the month is $3,125.03. Pre-tax contributions, 401k, I am currently contributing 3%. I used to have it at 6 or 7%, and even that to me was low, but my company matches 5%. So as it is, I already feel like I'm leaving money on the table, but I kept it at 3 just for right now. I may reduce it temporarily if I have to, but like I said, I just feel like I'm leaving money on the table by not doing my employee match. So I would like to try and keep it there if possible. The second pre-tax deduction that I have is my commuter train ticket and parking. I take the train to work every day. I park at the train station. I am able to use my benefits card to buy my train ticket and pay for my parking. And so I calculate that every month on how much my ticket is and my parking. I think parking's like $2 a day. I take $57.50 out of each check. My train ticket is $75 a month. And again, my parking is $2 a day. Insurance is the next deduction, and that's medical, vision, and dental insurance for myself and my two younger of the three kids. My daughter's 23, my son is 18. Eventually, I will be able to reduce that to just a single person. However, right now it's the same whether I have one child or two. So I'm not saving any money unless it was just me. It's $229.92 per pay period. I don't even want to get into the insurance because I don't even know what I'm paying for half the time. It doesn't really cover much, but I guess I don't want to find out what it would be like if I didn't have health insurance. So I pay what I have to pay. My HSA, I have $125 taken out of every paycheck. I was using that for a monthly prescription. I may look into reducing that. The other thing that comes out of my HSA are my contacts or any other medical things that I might need throughout the year. But again, I could probably try and reduce that to $100 per paycheck. I may do some calculations to find out how much my contacts are and then just reduce that temporarily if I need to. This is where it varies a little bit for my post-tax deductions. So I do have a loan, a 401k loan, and that is taken out of my check directly, and that is $198.39 per pay period, and I believe I have 4 years left on that loan. And then the one thing that is taken out of the first paycheck of every month is the gym membership. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but it's $176.50. This is a gym membership for myself and my soon-to-be ex-husband. He pays my car insurance in lieu of me paying his gym membership. And the reason why we left it as this is twofold. One, if we were to get our own gym membership at the gym that we go to, which would easily be over $300 for a family plan. I don't even know what it would be individually. I am also grandfathered into this plan. So if I were to cancel it through my employer, I would not be able to sign up for it again because they do not offer it to new employees anymore. So it's like I have it until I get rid of it and then I won't be able to do it anymore. So it's not something that I really want to give up right now. Plus, again, if I had to pay for my own car insurance, it would probably be equal to what both our gym memberships together is. It's kind of a wash, but that's why you will also not see car insurance anywhere on my budget because he pays for the car insurance still. I'm sure we will have to revisit that agreement once we are officially divorced, and I don't even have a date for that. So for now, these are the deductions on my paycheck. The other thing on my income side of the spreadsheet is the income that I get from gig work. I try and hit $500 a weekend. So I pretty much work Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday. I do grocery delivery for Shipt, and I enjoy it as a side hustle because it's very flexible. I understand, and one thing I don't like is the wear and tear on my car. And I'm a little concerned of how it will be in the winter. I started doing this in February, March of this year. I had done it before, so I was already signed up, but this time I I'm doing it for a completely different purpose. And I will probably do a video on side hustles at some point, and I'll go into more detail on Ship. But for right now, it gives me that immediate income that I need. I am currently not taking taxes out of this money. And the reason for that is because in January, I do get a bonus from my W-2 job. And it is, I think it's a 10 or 12% bonus. And I'm going to use that money to pay for my taxes in April. So I'm not saving taxes right now from this money. And like I said, I'm trying to hit $500 a week. So that's what I have here. Lately, I have been hitting over 500, but I would like to stay on what I know I can comfortably hit in order to include that in the budget instead of, being short. The other thing that I do is reselling. So I sell on eBay and Poshmark, and it's so hit or miss right now. So I don't want to include a number in the budget and rely on that number. I would rather at the end of the month see what I made with reselling and be able to apply that where I need to. And then I'm going to probably look back at my last few months of reselling and get an average, and maybe I'll include an average in next month's budget, but I just don't feel comfortable putting a number in there currently, but I may have to eventually. So that is what I have listed for income. And then next we will go through, why can't I think right now? Next we will go through the monthly bills and the variable expenses. All right, so now let's get into the expenses. So I have my monthly bills and my variable expenses. And after I put this down on here, I reviewed it again, and I think I need to do some shifting of which columns things should go in, but I didn't want to make too many changes at first. I just wanted to have everything in one place. And as I go along, I will be improving it. I will talk about each line item briefly because it is a lot. And I will also kind of just make notes of what my attention is going to be going into the next month or two, on where my focus will be on trying to pay things down or reducing the amounts on these line items or eliminating some altogether. The first thing we have here is my mortgage. It's $2,821.71. This is actually $1,000 more than what it was when my ex-husband moved out of the house in October of last year, or maybe it was beginning of November. Somewhere around exact this time last year, I got a letter from my mortgage company saying that my escrow was underfunded, and so I either needed to send them an $8,000 payment, or they were going to break up that $8,000 into an additional payment that I had to make on my mortgage for the next year. Since I didn't have $8,000 at the time, I had no choice but to have them split it up. So my escrow alone went up as it was originally going to go up, and I think that was like $300. But then this additional payment got added, and my mortgage payment went up about $988 a month, pretty much $1,000. I am hoping that when they do my review this month of my account and my escrow, that I am not underfunded again, and that I will no longer have to make that additional payment, and hopefully my mortgage will come down at least a little bit. But I don't want to bank on that. So right now my mortgage payment in the budget is what it is, $2,821.71. My HOA payment is $307.22. My car is $658 a month. This is one of those purchases that I definitely regret, but it is what it is at this point. I have about a year and 4 months left to pay for my car. I may move this down to my debt payments and track the balance of my car loan, but for right now I have it included in my monthly bills because it's something that I have to pay every month. It doesn't change. The next line item that I have here is Comcast Security. That is for my home security system. The next line item is T-Mobile. That is my home internet. So the North Shore Med payment, that is a medical payment plan. About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, I had some iron infusions or transfusions. I don't know. I had iron injected via IV, and when I had that done, I really didn't have a choice. I had to have it done. I was not told ahead of time how much they were going to cost, and I assumed that it was going to be covered by my insurance. But lo and behold, because I have a really high deductible on my insurance, they discounted the amount, but I was still responsible for the payment until I hit my deductible. and those were $900 per infusion, and I had to have 5 of them. In addition to that, my son had a minor surgery done about a year ago, and that was also added to this medical payment. We just kind of combined everything and recalculated the monthly payment. That monthly payment is $72 a month. There's no interest to it. It's just a payment plan. So that's why I don't have it included with my credit card debt, because again, it's going to be the same whether I pay it now or whether I pay it 3 years from now, but I just have to make that minimum of $72 a month. The next few are some Affirm loans, and I'm going to try and get those paid off and off of this budget as soon as possible. The first 3, I think I only have like a month or 2 left, so I'm going to try and make an additional payment this month to get that paid off. All of them together, I think I added them up, and it's like $108 for all 4 of them. Yeah, I mean, I will never use those pay in 4s or, Affirm, Klarna anymore, because, it sounds good at the time, and then you forget about these payments, and then you're not thinking about it, and then they tend to come out of your account when you least expect them or when you forget about them. And maybe I'm the only one, I don't know, but I need to get them off of this budget ASAP. The next 2 are subscriptions that I use for my reselling. The eBay store, $21.95. That I'm not going to be removing. I use that. I have my eBay store. I use that to make sales. I guess technically I don't need a subscription, but I think I list enough per month that it just makes sense to have it. Vendoo is my inventory software, and that's $49.99 a month. I will probably look into either reducing the subscription plan that I have, or looking into a different software. The next one is the gym for my son. So this is an addition to my gym membership. I had gotten this for him when he was in high school and he was going very often. Now that he is finished with school and he's working, he doesn't really go that much. So I need to have a conversation with him to see if we can cancel his portion of the gym membership, or he's going to have to start paying me the $40 every month for maintaining his gym membership. So that line item may be going away, or I will get reimbursed for that. The next line item is Capital Car Wash. It's an unlimited car wash subscription. I do have a white car. I pay a lot of money for my car, and so I try to keep it clean, and I would take it to get washed at least once a week. However, my son just started working at one of those big car washes and selling memberships, and I may be able to cancel this one and either get a cheaper membership plan through him or just get free car washes, one or the other, right? And then I can eliminate this line item altogether. So the next one is Spotify, $19.99 a month. That is something that I use every single day. So like when I'm at my desk at work, I'm usually listening to music or a podcast or an audiobook. If I'm on the train, if I'm not watching YouTube videos, I'm listening to Spotify. So that's just something that I would like to try and keep in the budget. I don't know if I could reduce the plan. I do believe I have a family plan as well, so that is there. Netflix, $21.79. That is something I may look into canceling at some point. I do watch shows pretty often in my downtime, whatever little downtime I have. It is a little bit higher than I would like, because I think I have an additional non-household member on my account, which is my oldest daughter. So, that's why it is the price that it is. Stan Store, that is a subscription that I use for my reselling business. I may be able to get rid of that one. I am going to look into it if I've been using it or not. I don't think I have been, so I may be able to eliminate that. Canva is not something that I'm going to be able to eliminate. I use it for my regular job. I use it for my reselling business. I started using it for some of my YouTube stuff. So I will keep it here. It's $12.95. Posture VA, that is also something that I use for reselling. It's $27.50. I do know that a lot of these reselling subscriptions I do deduct on my taxes, but with that being said, it is still money I pay every month. This one I may be able to get rid of. Or I may combine it with a software with the inventory system, so I may not need to pay for both. That is something that I need to do some research on and look into. The Reel, I am going to be getting rid of that one. I don't use that subscription as much as I used to, and that that was also for the reselling business. Paramount, I will be getting rid of that. There was a show that I was watching on Paramount, but since I am no longer watching that show because it's over, I will be canceling my Paramount subscription. The next thing I have on my line item is Gem Med Spa. And so right now, this is for my Botox, and this is finishing up paying the last of my last session. So I used to get Botox every 3 months. I'm spreading that now out like every 5 months. It is something that I would like to try and keep as long as possible, but I know a lot of people will disagree with me and tell me I don't need it and it's a waste of money, and I get it. I get it. I beat myself up about it all the time. But I mean, I don't do a lot for myself anymore. I mean, I don't get my hair done. The last time I had my hair done was in November of last year. And I mean, I get a haircut here and there, and my daughter cuts hair, so she'll cut my hair for me. But I don't get my hair done like I used to. Don't wear a lot of makeup. I don't do massages or facials or any of that stuff. I used to get filler. I haven't gotten filler in a really long time, probably in over a year and a half. So yeah, I mean, Botox is one of the two things that I do for myself. And I get it. Like, there's people out there that can just give up everything. And I don't know if I have that in me. I can do hard things and I will push myself as much as I can, but this month is not the month. So it stays in the budget for right now. iStorage, that's my storage unit. I don't have a small house, but I don't have storage in my house. I don't have a basement. I have a single car garage, so I don't have a lot of extra room in my garage to store things. So I have a storage unit. That's where I keep like all my holiday stuff or things that I don't need all the time. And my daughter, when she moved back home from school, she brought everything from her apartment with her, and that is in storage until she finds her own place and she moves out. She will take that with her. At that point, that's where I might not need the storage, but it's a really tiny storage unit, very small, but that's $54 a month. And the last thing that I pay for monthly is Blinkify. That is my lash subscription. I do my lashes myself once a week, $30. It's for the supplies. It's a set of 3 lashes for me to do my lashes. So those are my monthly expenses. Next, we'll go over the variable expenses. So now we're going to get into the variable expenses, and this is where I get a little confused. So I am not sure if my utilities are supposed to be under variable expenses because it can change more often than my monthly bills. Is that how that's supposed to work? I think. So that's why I left it under variable expenses. But anyway, my first line item is NICOR gas. That's the gas for my house. $74 a month. The next line item is ComEd. It's $106 a month. My water bill, it's $56.66. The next line item, I know it's crazy. It's my cell phone. I have Verizon. It's $513 a month, 65 cents. I do have 5 cell phones and 2 watches on this plan. And I have already talked to my 3 children who have their phones on this plan. And now that they are all 3 working, I have mentioned to them that I would like for them to reimburse me for their cell phone bills. It's really hard having adult children and like forcing them to now start paying for themselves. But I think this is one area where they need to be a little bit more responsible. I want to get them on a path to where they're not relying on me as much. And I know it's not going to save me a whole lot, but if I can get an extra $150 back a month from each of them paying at least $50 for their cell phones, that would be great. The other phone and watch is mine, and I'm not going to be reducing that unless I switch cell phone providers, which I'm not opposed to doing, but I would prefer not to do because I don't want to have to move all of us. But my phone and my watch, I use daily for all 3 of the jobs that I'm doing right now. And so I need to be able to rely on my cell phone. And the last phone on my bill is my mother's. I've been paying for her cell phone for like the last 10 years. She's retired. She's on a very fixed income. I would not feel comfortable asking her to pay for her own cell phone. So it will be my responsibility until she no longer needs it. The next line item is groceries. So if it's not clear yet, I live in a house with my son and my daughter, and I pay for the groceries. I pay for the groceries for all 3 of us. If there is anything that they want that is not included in the groceries, they have to get on their own. I think 800 is reasonable. I do want to try and reduce that. I think there's been some months where we've gone over that because sometimes we'll go to the store and just buy whatever. I need to get a little bit more aware of what we're buying for groceries. We need to plan our meals ahead. That's not something that we've been doing, but I do think I can get this to either stay at 800 or a little bit lower. I think we can do it. Gas for my car, I have it at 500. I do try and get under 500. I try and make sure I sign up for the gas discounts. So I have a discount for Shell and a discount for BP. So I try to use those as much as I can, keep my gas low as possible. The reason why it is so high is because I do grocery delivery. With that, it comes a higher gas bill. Water delivery, that is the 5-gallon bottles of water that we use in our water dispenser. The three of us drink a lot of water. Sometimes it's under 40. I don't think it's ever gone over 40, so I put 40 in there for right now. I can look into reducing this, but I don't think that will go away. This is the line item where I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for it. I have been trying to talk myself into reducing this, but this is the one other thing that I do for myself. I just can't see myself getting rid of. At least not right now. So that's my nails. I get my nails done once a month. Sometimes I go 5 weeks. I could probably get my nails done simple and it would be a little bit less. However, I do get Gel X nails. It allows me to go, longer periods of time without having to get them redone. I put 160 in here. I've never gone over 160. Really, the cost depends on the design. I will ask the next time I go, which I think is at the end of October, what the starting price is. I don't even remember what like a solid color costs, but I will see if I can reduce that a little bit. Eventually, I am trying to convince myself to, do my nails on my own or something along those lines. But I use my hands for everything. Like in reselling, my hands are in pictures a lot. At my data job, I do presentations. I do things where I'm in front of people and I talk with my hands. And it's just one of those things where I'm very self-conscious about my hands. And just one of the things that I just have not given up yet. And I don't know if I'm ready yet. So that is 160 in my budget right now. Dining out, I know I've gone over this amount a few times over the last few months, but I think 200 is really the amount I need to try and stick to, or less than that. I keep it in my budget because yes, sometimes I would like to go out at least once a month with my kids to dinner or to brunch or even just for coffee. And so I have that in there. The other thing that I use for dining is once in a while, I may go out to lunch with my coworkers. I've reduced that a lot. I've been taking my lunch to work. I used to eat out every day. And so now it's like maybe once every 2 weeks that I go out, and maybe I won't go out at all. For right now, I'm going to keep 200 in there and I may lower that. US Bank reserve line, I feel like this should be in either debt payments or monthly bills, one of the two. I do have a reserve line that I have a little balance on, so I pay $25 a month on that. The next two line items is probably way under what my normal current spending has been, but I cannot even begin to tell you what I buy there. So that is why I capped it at 100, so that I am forcing myself to either think twice before I spend or to really document what I'm spending on there so I can then evaluate, like, do I need to increase that amount? Like, I know I buy things on Amazon every month, but I can't tell you what I've bought. The same thing with Target. I buy at Target for sure my household supplies, and I know that's a given. Like, I need that. Toilet paper, paper towels, laundry stuff, cleaning supplies. That's a given, and I think $100 a month should be fair. That stuff usually lasts me a month or a little bit more when I buy it. So I think 100 is reasonable. So we'll see. The Amazon and the Target line items, I don't know what I'm going to be buying with that, but I figure it's better safe than sorry. I do think I'm missing some stuff, but I don't know what yet. I have been going through my checking statements to try and figure that out. I think this is a good place to start as far as variable expenses. So those are my variable expenses. Now we're going to go down to, on this spreadsheet, this is a section for savings. I don't have anything there yet. Eventually I want to populate this and make a commitment to save a certain amount of money every month. I don't know how that's supposed to work because I'm very conflicted in how do I save money and pay off debt at the same time. But I think maybe it wouldn't hurt to at least put $50 a month into savings or $100, something along those lines. This is going to be something that I'm going to revisit next month after I see how I do in October, and then see what I have left over, if anything. But as we go into the October budget, we're going to see where I'm a little nervous. Underneath savings is the debt section. I've already gone over each of these line items in detail in my debt confessions video before this one. So I'm not going to do it right now, but I have everything listed here. I have my minimum payment listed that I need to pay every month, and that is $1,470.71. So now that we have gone over all the information that I populated my spreadsheet with, my income, my variable expenses, and my monthly bills, and my debts, we can go into October's budget. So this is where I start to get a little confused, because according to what I see here, I am short a little over $500, maybe a lot over $500. So I'm short $569.17 for October. However, because of the way my paychecks are, I don't think I'm short for October, but according to this, I'm not making enough every month to pay for what I need to pay for that month, if I'm interpreting it correctly. So for me, that's a problem. And that's where I start to get a little scared in like sending extra money into credit cards or making extra payments or putting stuff in savings, because I'm like, well, what if I don't have enough money at the end of the month? So then I just keep the money in my checking account and I tell myself that at the end of the month, I'll send that extra payment when I have it. But then somehow at the end of the month, I just don't have it. So like, where the hell does it go? And I think I'm just spending money that I shouldn't be spending. I don't know. And that's why I need this budget. And that's why I need to start really tracking my expenses so that I know where my money is going, because I know I make a good salary. I also know that I owe a shit ton of money and I need to figure out how to pay this down, but I really should not be negative this much money. I inputted the number of what I had in all my accounts when October 1st hit. So on October 1st, I had $6,186.90 in my checking account. And that was from like the leftover money from my September paycheck and the money from my grocery delivery side hustle that I was saving to pay the mortgage. So out of that 6,000, I paid my mortgage and whatever bills that I had to pay from October 1st, and I will pay until October 7th, because I don't get my first paycheck in October until October 8th. So I don't know. I'm really confused by all of this, but I am just at least going through the numbers so I can hopefully figure this out. I think it might make more sense when I start to fill in this transaction tracker. So this is going to be where I record everything that I spend throughout the month and add it to a category so I can figure out how much I spent versus how much I had planned to spend, and then where I may have either gone over or that I've paid that I wasn't planning on paying, and like how much that was, so that when I do November's budget, I can use that data to kind of tweak it and make it more realistic, right? So this is what I've paid for the first and the second of the month, which is, my mortgage. I paid that firm loan. I did buy some groceries, my HOA, ComEd, and I will populate this and then we can revisit it at the end of the month and see how I did. All right. So that is my budget for the month of October. I know I'm probably missing stuff and I know it's not perfect. It's a work in progress. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm just starting and will improve as I go along. I feel like a child, if I'm being honest. I am not a numbers girl and I am obviously not a money girl. So I'm very confused, but I am determined to figure this out. I have to figure this out. Like, this is going to hopefully become fun and second nature and all that great stuff. But for right now, it is scary, it is embarrassing, and I am extremely nervous about what the future holds and how I'm going to continue to make ends meet every month. But I'm also hopeful. As I review this, I do realize I need to scale back a little bit in like my lifestyle. And I think I've done that. I think I've done that a lot. However, now I'm paying the consequences from all the spending that I did, all the things that I've bought. So yeah, this is where I'm at. And I know that I don't expect anyone to feel sorry for me. That's for sure, because I am in this situation because of myself, but I am not going to beat myself up over it. I am going to prove that budgeting is for everyone. And this is my start. But yeah, I don't know how this is going to all piece together, but hopefully it will. I keep telling myself I can't be the only one going through this. I'm sure there's someone else that can relate to me, and I really hope there is, because I am very lonely in this journey. It is not fun doing this alone. So I'm really hoping to start to build a community here of like-minded people, because one thing that I do believe is success comes by surrounding yourself with people that are thinking the same way or beyond. I really want to build that community here. So if you are in a similar situation, or you can share in the journey that I'm going through, you know what I'm going through, please feel free to join me. I hate this for us that we're in this situation, but I love it for us that we can rely on each other and that we're actually doing something about it. So grateful to have you here. If you've made it through to the end of this video, yeah, I mean, it's only up from here. I keep telling myself that, and I will tell you as well, it's only up from here. I will see you in the next one. Bye.